New study out today finds that men are paid more than women in every single industry at every single level. How about that? Is that sexism, or is it something else like career choice and children? Maybe that's to blame. Joining us now, the Heritage Foundation's Steve Moore, and we have the president of Lean In back as well, Rachel Thomas. Thanks to both of you for joining us. Okay, so the author of the study said, quote, a big reason for the gender pay gap is that men and women tend to work in different jobs. Men dominate higher paying jobs, engineering, construction, mining. Women dominate jobs like teaching and social work. That's what the author says, Rachel. How do we fix that?
Well, what I would say is this study shows what we know, that the pay gap does exist, the gender pay gap. And other studies show that women in the same jobs working the same exact number of hours are also facing the same gap. But how we fix it, I think there's a couple things. Women need to ask for more. We know women are up to 5 times less likely to negotiate than men, and that obviously has an impact. And organizations need to treat employees fairly. Do audits, understand how they're paying both women and men in the same roles.
Steve, you know, when we look at the numbers, too, they say, you know, if you go to women who are not married, they make 95 cents on every dollar. Mm-hmm. Is that fair, though? I mean, maybe more men should be staying home with kids and taking time off. And you know, that's one of the factors in here is that women are spending time taking care of their family and they fall behind at work.
Well, more and more there are stay-at-home dads now, and so you're starting to see inequality even in that direction. You know, I've looked at this data, Melissa, on the gap between men and women over the last 35, 40 years. And, you know, the story is this, that throughout the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, and even through the first part of this last decade, you know, the wage gap was shrinking. And actually, under Barack Obama, the gap has increased. So it's this weird thing that's going on under Obama, that all of these things that he complains about, income inequality,
but
inequality
let's
between
take it to
sexes.
a personal level, Rachel, because you and I both have daughters. So what do we teach them? Because, you know, on one hand, you know, I have one child who's really interested in coding. I have another one who isn't. I don't think you can force a kid into STEM that isn't naturally there. I mean, do you tell your kids, pursue your dreams? Hey, Katy Perry made $135 million last year, so women can make money doing what their passion is. What do we tell our daughters?
I think that's a great question. So certainly there's passion, and we always want kids, boys or girls, to follow their passion. But there's also being practical. So I will tell you, as much as I can nudge my kids into fields that I know are lucrative, flexible, and for girls, I mean, STEM is so critical. And as you know, the number of girls coming out with degrees in engineering, it's only shrinking. And yet we know these are some of the most lucrative and flexible jobs on the planet.
I know, and there's some women who are making less who would say they're happy with that choice if they have the flexibility, because they do want to be at home part of the time taking care of their kids. A lot of choices at work here. But all right, guys, thanks to both of you.
Thank you.
And